Hello, how's it going, everyone? A very good evening to you all. As you know, I'm always here. I'm Harsh. I'm the pixel art mentor here at Gamer to Maker. And how's it going for everyone? First of all, let's see some comments in the chat. Zombie 3D games, zombie games. I hope I'm not butchering any of those names, but yeah, how's it going? I think it's Azan, right? Uh, like a mic check. Is everyone able to hear me? Anything in the comments? How is it going for everyone? All right, as people are coming, first of all, let me give you a brief of what we are doing today. So before that, let's just put on some background music so that it doesn't get boring for us, right? All right. Always let me know in the comments if there is any um, loud noises in the background, or if the music itself is very loud. You can always just let me know. All right, so without further ado, let's just begin with what we are doing today. So as you know, we invite some guests at our live streams. We invite our mentors here from time to time, but today is a bit special. Like how we did a live stream a few weeks ago, we are uh, doing a showcase for a student project which we showcased in IGDC. So, why it is important? Because, first of all, IGDC is one of the biggest game developers conference like in India, right? It's a big convention for us, and coming there as a from like an audience perspective, or like a game enthusiast, game developer enthusiast, to coming there as someone who has made a game of their own and then showcased it to those people, to the public, to thousands of people. It's really a big achievement. So you'll know more about their journey throughout this live stream, right? So let's just begin. Let's invite our first guest from the team, A Grave Affair. Hi, Vikram. Hello.
Hello, hi
So
everyone.
Vikram is the game designer and the project manager of the team. And then we have Ayush. Hi, Ayush. How's it going?
Hello everyone, thanks
Ayush
for
is also one of the game designers, and we have these two people for from the a Grave Affair team. Sorry, my throat is hurting a bit because I just now got up from a fever. So fever goes, but cough and cold always remains. So just don't mind it. But yeah, how's it going for you guys?
Good, good, pretty good.
yeah.
So first of all, before we begin, um, how was the journey from 2024 to 25? In the sense, in 24, I believe you guys visited IGDC, but you guys visited as someone who wanted to, explore that area, like that world of game developers, the behind the scenes and all, making connections. But today, like this time, it was special because you were showcasing your games. You were talking to those people who are interested, like you guys a year before, right? So how was it for you guys, the experience?
I mean, it was pretty weird to be in those shoes. I still remember us going to the Spookaboo booth and playing there for
Yeah.
like quite a few minutes, and then that was happening at our booth where people were coming and playing our game. They
Mm,
were scratching their
mm,
heads, not even able to solve the cases. So it was pretty fun to put that against each other and
mm.
compare where we were before and how where we are right now.
Right. All right. So I'll not take much of your time again. You guys can just present this brief popping off. As always, I'll be in the background. If you find any issues, then let me know. You can just call me out on the stream itself. But yeah, all the best, guys.
Thank you.
Right, guys. Alright. Is my screen visible? Ayush, can you
Yep,
please?
it is visible. You
Alright.
can
Yes.
proceed.
Okay, so hi guys, welcome to our showcase of our game, A Grave Affair. Now, what is Grave Affair? Essentially, this is a interactive fiction adventure with a no mystery element, and we follow the story of this guy, John Marrow, who is currently grieving his wife as she died in an accident. But the twist is that he gets called to a hotel by an anonymous person to solve a case, and he decides to put his head into the case to distract himself from the grief. It's a 3D isometric perspective and it's for PC built-in Unity. So to begin, how did this idea come to life? Well, basically, it involved using anthropomorphism as a theme with my own spin on it. Now, what is that? It is basically showing animals as a very, how do I explain it? Okay, it basically involves showing them with emotions, like humans, with claws, with their own standing on their own two feet, as you can see in this slide over here. And that's how the way I wanted to put mine onto it was I wanted to do it with skeletons. So we took Grim Fandango, which is the image over here, which you can see as an example, and then I wanted to make a detective game out of that. So I did pitch this in our big game pitch, and it got selected as one of the games which were going to go into production. And since we wanted to keep the atmosphere light, we also decided to include a lot of skeleton puns with this heavy atmosphere that the game brings, which is something like John Marrow and every other character's last name being based on a part of the skeleton system. Now, how do you approach making a detective theme game? Well, there's a very simple answer to it. You play a lot of detective games. All of these games are amazing for anyone who out there who is trying to make a detective game. So I definitely recommend each and every one of this game. Even if you are not making a detective game, they are pretty fun.
How many of you have finished them?
Hey, we are not going to talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Okay. But we also, not just games, we also took some references from movies like Knives Out, then Lonely Hearts, and of course, Coco. Being a world full of skeletons, we couldn't miss Coco as one of our main inspirations. Now, it came to deciding style of our detective game. What I mean by style is there are primarily three styles which we could figure out from the playing all of these games. One is the deduction style, where information is easily available, but players have to connect all the dots and find out what happened. Then there's contradiction, where you catch your suspects from lying by finding discrepancies in the evidence. Then there's investigation, where the evidence is not available, and the challenge is to look for the evidence rather than connecting the dots. So we decided to go with deduction as our style. We can go more into that later on in the live stream. So then we had to decide our core mechanics. So there are three main core mechanics of our game. One is dialogue clues. What are dialogue clues? It is basically clues which are there in the dialogues spoken by the characters, as you can see over here. And once you hover over it, the circle it is encircled, and you can pick that clue from the dialogue. Then there's evidence inspection, where you look for evidence on objects and you collect those clues. So clues are stored in the form of words. Now, what to do with those clues? For that, we had fill in the blanks. So, as you can see in this image here, John Marrow is a retired detective. So, here, detective has been taken and placed over here. He is also a chain smoker. So, now you have a sentence which you have completed, which is John Marrow is a retired detective and he is also a chain smoker. So, these three mechanics made our core loop, and each fill in the blank revealed more of the story, and that's how the game keeps continuing. Then came our art style, where we had to make sure that we had low poly assets in our game because we were in fact a student project, right? So you have to look out for all these things. Then there was selecting the right look for our protagonist, and not just our protagonist, but also all the other characters and all the other objects in the game, which will complement our mechanics and the overall theme of the game. After that, these are some of the stages of development. So you can see this scene over here eventually turned into this, with designers giving feedback on what areas can be traversed, or where there are problems with the nav mesh, etc. So yeah, these are the blockouts, and this is what it turned into. We also had some places where we had to make decisions, like instead of using a whole 3D cuboid, we just used a plane and then we textured it in a way that it looks 3D. So it gives an illusion. Then of course, no narrative game is complete without its characters. Am I right? So there were characters which were made based on a script which was written by a narrative designer Azan. You can see him in the comics. Then came the describing of these characters. So we, we described these characters, we gave them to the concept artists, and this is what they came up with. I can tell you the names of the characters later. Right now, we'll move on. So now that I've shown you all of this, you'd think everything went smoothly, right? Since we did a lot of pre-production. Of course not. Of course not. So, what were the problems? As you can imagine, with any game, any beginner game where game devs are making a game for the first time, overscoping was a big issue. The core mechanics which we had led to the creation of more mechanics, and as designers we kept ideating things which were not necessary to the gameplay, but since it was the first time and we had been given this creative liberty to put any mechanic we want, we just scope creep the hell out of it, and then we had to face the consequences. Also, many of my team members had day jobs, so a burnout was a factor which was often overlooked by me, where I would give tasks, and people would try to complete them, but they couldn't. And if they did complete them, they were very burnt out. The quality of work which was coming from all of us started to deteriorate. So at one point, we had overscoped the game so much that I had to sit down and wonder, like, is this even possible to make? But yeah, that's what overscoping entailed. Then, of course, the second very common mistake which happens and the problem which occurs in teams is communication. Since it was our first time working in a team, none of us knew how to properly communicate. And it didn't seem like an issue to me until it was actually a very, very big issue. And what it basically meant was a lot of mechanics needed to be reworked. There were a lot of changes in the UVs of the textures, and also attributes of certain environmental assets. Then obviously also a lot of places were there where the dialogues weren't making sense, or the story flow was not making sense because something happened in the previous scene which didn't make sense in the other scene. And yeah, so basically all of these things brought challenges, but how did it affect our production cycle is it took away a lot of our time because things needed to be reworked, and we couldn't meet our deadlines which our project managers had given to us. So that was another big problem. Then, do I even need to say more? And bug fixing is the one of the most irritating parts which all game developers relate to. And most of our bugs were related to the clue words not being stored while we were changing scenes. So the mechanic which I showed you earlier, right? All the clues which were there in one scene were not being transferred to another scene. And since a lot of our systems are also interdependent, because if you don't collect the clues, the fill in the blanks can't be filled. So even if there was any problem or a bug with us collecting the clues, we couldn't actually see how the fill in the blank was working, and that was something which we always knew that there will be a lot of bugs to fix, but this is something which we didn't account for because we had to wait, and that wait was like very uncertain, and we didn't know whether the what to do with bugs. So the only thing we could do was we could give our programmers the time and try to understand as much as possible, being game designers. But they eventually did turn out pretty well, and they explained us very well. Okay, this may be a very confusing slide, but a big part of the solution was accepting that the game which I had envisioned will never come to life. And that's okay because it's a student project. You need to learn from it more than make it something very grand. So a big part of it was acceptance, and this is also where one of the gamer to maker mantras really helped me, because it is not about me, it is about the game. So that's when we started to look for solutions, one of which was obviously scoping down. It affected everything, our communication, our burnout. A low scope game meant people weren't getting burnt out, and we would rather make a polished alpha build rather than making a incomplete game which keeps breaking. That's the decision we took, and we knew that the story would not be completed. Oh, the mystery is not solved, but it's okay. We just decided we focus on what we have and then put effort into it. Then also adding juice was a pretty big part of the improvements which we made, because that was pretty important for collecting keywords, etc. Being something which is primarily just clicking and making it more interesting. Another thing which we noticed during testing was players were just skimming through our dialogues left and right, and the dialogues were important, right? So we had to make the conversations short to immerse the player in the narrative rather than bore them with long dialogues which they won't be reading. Then came skill-based tasks. So, since overscoping solved a lot of issues, we also had a rough idea of what everyone was good at. Right after our let's 3 months of production of were done. So then they were only given tasks which they were good at, and they had proved that they were good at. And sometimes we had to pick up tasks which we didn't like, and I think that's a very common part of game dev. But we also had a very helpful community, and we took a lot of advice from people working on other games to solve issues that both teams were facing or those game devs had previously faced. So shout out to Sushant, Kevin, Azan. You guys helped a lot. Thank you for that. So team management. What even is this? This doesn't make sense, right? Well, this is basically a part of what the Canva would look like, where I had to keep a track of everything, and that is what it basically entails, right? It is overlooking. It is making sure the deadlines are followed. It is making sure that your teammates are really are in a sprint cycle. You There's no lack of manpower, let's say. So if I need a mechanic made, if my programmer was going to be on a vacation and I just missed it, I didn't keep track of it, then well, you have wasted a week, right? The 1 week is gone. Then there were also points where it felt like the teammates were dragging the project down. So these are some difficult decisions which I think come with team management, where you have to tell them that you know what, there are some things which can be done better, and we need you to buckle up and focus. Then it was also a lot of playtesting, right? Like the amount of bugs that we were getting on each playtest, me and Ayush were just scratching our head. There, we literally had a Discord channel which was full of just bug fixes. I found this bug. I found this bug. I found this bug, and then also there are a lot of people who give feedback. Not everyone who gives feedback knows exactly what you're working towards. So it is important you also make a target group while coordinating your playtests or conducting playtests even. And that is something which we learned. So yeah, that was what entailed team management. And this is our team. Okay, this is a group picture. So this is me, this is Ayush. Azan, as I mentioned, he's the one who wrote the whole script, and then we iterated on it. Me and Viplav, we sat down and we iterated the dialogues on it. Then Nishwant was our lead programmer. He made the systems like interacting with the objects and finding the keywords on it. Karthik was the one who made all the fill in the blanks, and Siri was the one who made the circling dialogues mechanic. Then for artists, Rohit was our lead artist and Suraj was our 2D and concept artist. Both of them came together and made a concept art and an art style which we then followed. Harshit was an environment artist who took on a lot of the load at the during a crunch, and he delivered a lot of assets and which look really pretty. And Steven was there at a time when, unfortunately, Rohit couldn't be there. So Steven took on the load of managing all the other environment art. And Suraj gave all the 2D art and the UI, which you see it has been made by Suraj. So yeah, that was our team. And now we can head on to questions, which you guys have. So you can let me know in the comments of all the questions that you have. Okay. If
All right. So by the time people are writing their questions and Ayush is already answering them as he's getting the time, I believe we could set up the gameplay, right? Like
yeah,
we,
I think
like as we told, we were also gonna showcase our, like our students are going to showcase the gameplay, like by playing the game live here. And yeah, basically, like I guess you can just launch it, right, Vikram?
yeah. One second.
I'll be muting every time and like time and again because there is a wedding going on outside. I hope
Yeah, I
noise is
understand.
not coming. Is it coming?
It is, but
I
it's
can
okay
hear
if
a little
you.
bit
Ah,
of noise, but it's fine.
okay, makes sense. I'll just mute myself then.
Okay, so let me just give a small snippet. Just let me know if my screen is visible when I screen share. Okay, is it visible?
Not yet. Yes, it is visible.
All right.
I hope you checked the audio button.
Yep.
Okay, nice. Can't hear it though. Can't hear the audio.
Hmm. Maybe a streamer. Okay, let me know if.
So Vikram, I think it came right. Nodding. Let me
You guys
see.
let me know because I can hear.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what you can do is reshare, and while you are sharing the screen, like while you are selecting the window for sharing the screen, there will be a small pop-up
Yeah.
to ask the which window you want to share, and somewhere around there you must be seeing like share audio as well, like a prompt like that in the same window.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Found it?
Yeah, yeah, got it.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
Yep, it's coming now. You can just hide the bottom thing. Yeah.
So you use your mouse to give the direction and you move around using the W. So now that he needs to smoke, I go near the cigarette bar. Here is where we implemented our tutorials. So any keyword you pick, it gets collected. And then John Maro gives a small explanation of that object. So this is the dialog mechanic which I was mentioning. As you can see, the moment I hover over it, the dialog, the clue encircles, sorry, and you can put it. It is indicated by a sticky note so that you can know whether or not you have collected the dialog. Then there's the tablet on which you solve the fill in the blanks. So now this progresses the story forward, and now you can interact with all the other interactables which were there before. So I'm just going to do a quick speed run. Please don't mind me, guys. But you can definitely try it out. The same build is there on Edge. It's our pre-alpha build. So I have these sentences which I have to solve. So now I'll just so there you go. One of our quests is solved. Now we have to solve the other one. Now there's one thing about this game which is that we also have dummy keywords, so you have to be aware of whether or not the sentence makes sense. You can't just blindly solve it. Yeah, so lighter is no summon. Scrolling. So even though there are extra words, since they don't make sense, the player has to be aware of that while solving. Yep. Now, another mechanic which we have, which I didn't want to mention in the PPT, but you know what, I'll just mention it, is we also have an acceleration mechanic where hidden things are visible. So let's say, like you can see there's something written over here, but it's not visible right now. And once we hover over it using the lens, it is visible and that clue is collected. Same goes for here. You can see that there may be something here, so you hover over it. So now there's another quest. We solve this. The game progresses forward, and now we can leave our house and actually go and see what this mystery is about. So this is the Bloomingdale model. This is another point of interaction. Just so yeah. So there was an accidental death, and now the plot is revealed over here, and now you have to enter the model and solve the mystery. So I'll just keep it till here because I obviously don't want to spoil the whole game more than I already have. But yeah, so that was our pre-alpha build. Now I think there are enough questions as well, right?
Yeah, you can answer
Oh,
about the
yeah.
music.
Hmm.
There's someone in the comments asking where did you get the music for the game?
Oh, okay. The music for the game. So there's this website called Epidemic Sound, where if you have like a 1 month subscription, you can get some audios. You can't get them for free, and if you use them, you'd have to, I think, mention it. But yeah, on Epidemic Sound, that service is there, so you can get the songs which artists have uploaded. They have chosen to upload on that website, and if you take that subscription, you can get it from there. How, what else is there? So how was the pitch done for the production? So we have, so Gyan Prakash, we have this uh, big game pitch where we were in Dementor's batch. So every student of Dementor's batch pitches their own game idea, and then it is a voting system is done among the people who were there. So around 50, right? 50 people. So yeah,
Yeah, round
around
about.
50 people vote for the games that they like, and then the ones which get a lot of votes are selected. Which plugin was used for the narration and the quest system? We didn't use a plugin. We had a system which we built on our own, but that is also a good question because this is something which we learned. As you could see, like since there were a lot of systems which were interdependent, bug fixing was a big problem because we couldn't progress the game till one particular bug was solved. So we made it from scratch, but if given the chance to do it again, I would definitely try to tell my programmers to make a more modular system. How many people? Okay, answered this one. So you pitched the game at IGDC for the 30. We didn't pitch particularly for IGDC. We pitched it so that the game gets selected by Gamer to Maker to move forward into production. And the game is not complete. This is a pre-alpha build, where which is another point, right? Like instead of making a complete game which had a lot of bugs and which clearly didn't work, we didn't want that. So we only stuck till a particular part of the mystery, and we've left it at a cliffhanger.
All right. I believe that is it, right? From our
I think
side.
so. How
Are
much?
there like is there any background music coming from my side? Any background noise?
Not a lot, not a lot.
Not a lot,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine then. Because
Okay, Rageful
it's
Virus. Rageful Virus
really.
has asked some questions. Which
Mm,
institution is it? This is Gamer to Maker
yep.
Virus. Okay, how much did it cost you to showcase your game? Nothing.
Yep.
Gamer to Maker gave us this
Yes,
opportunity.
I already answered it because we basically what happens is
Yeah,
we
yeah.
pitch like whatever games are pitched and whichever games is made like during that year, we use those games We showcase those games during IGDC because always put a booth. Every IGDC, if you come, there is always a gamer to maker booth. And this year we showcased three games, and one more of our game, which was not showcased there on our booth. It was selected at Indie 40, which is like the premium games which are being made by Indian game devs. It's called Mega Drift. So if you check the description of this live stream, you can go to our website and play all the games which are being mentioned right now and some more. All the student games are playable there. You can find the links as well. So we basically are doing a kind of a series, right? This year we are trying something new, and we had a few weeks ago we had a Mega Drift showcase which was selected at Indy 40. Today we showcased Grave Affair. We have two more games to come, and you'll have to stay tuned. You'll have to subscribe to the channel, and you just watch out for the streams, the posts, and all. And yeah, that's basically it for today. I hope this was a good live stream for you guys.
Also,
All right.
if anyone has any more questions that they haven't gotten chance to answer, my Discord username is zuzu underscore 141. I can't type it because I don't
I
know
think you
why.
can type it in the chat if you want.
I can't join the
I'll
chat.
type it for you. I'll type it for you. No worries.
Okay. Uh, I guess you
Also,
can just put both of you guys.
yours is done.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
What are
Or
the
just
upcoming student games from other batches?
all right. So I guess like those games are being made, obviously, and I guess you'll have to stay tuned for next game showcases. Or you can just come to IGDC and watch closely our student page, like student games page on our website. We always post whatever new games are coming, whichever games are being posted. So like you can actively follow our socials. You can get the update there. Just go through our description. All right, so that's basically it. Thank you guys for coming, and have a very happy weekend, both of you guys and all the people who joined us in the chat. All right, see you guys. Bye bye. Good night.
bye bye,
Bye
guys. Thanks
guys,
for
thank
joining
you
in.
for your time.